Are you ready to get your feet wet? Because this is the Knowledge Pool, hosted by Gathering Information. We're here to bring you a casual conversation between friends about everything to do with collecting, trading, and playing Magic the Gathering.
I am Tams.
I am Step.
And I am Laura.
So put on your bathing suits and dive right into the Knowledge Pool. Are you ready to get your feet wet? Because this is the Knowledge Pool, hosted by Gathering Information. We're here to bring you a casual conversation between friends about everything to do with collecting, trading, and playing Magic the Gathering.
I am Tams.
I am Step.
And I am Laura.
So put on your bathing suits and dive right into the Knowledge Pool.
Oh my god, Step, do you know what episode it is?
It's episode 27.
He didn't look it up.
Well, I did before, but that was a while ago.
Ah.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Knowledge Pool.
Splish Splash?
Episode 27, you say?
Splish Splash. That'll be funny later.
It won't.
I am Steph.
I'm Tams.
I'm Laura.
And how are we doing, guys?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, it's going all right. We're off to the September Fatal Push promo season.
Yes, we are.
So,
You know what my favorite part of that is? That
What?
it's not hot out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's cooled down considerably here, which of course, I mean, it's now about 20 degrees Celsius instead of about 35, so
Yes, it's so light.
certainly bearable.
For all you Americans, you can make that conversion yourself.
That's right. You with your nonsense numbers. So,
It's dropped from 80 to 60-ish.
Yeah.
sure.
85 to 65-ish, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
Wahaha.
anyways, we are actually podcasting on Thursday instead of Wednesday like usual, which is very relevant because they just announced the big reveal of what Magic the Arena is.
Which is basically duels.
It's basically duels, yeah. Like, it looks kind of like a cross between duels and Hearthstone with the actual Magic rules engine.
Which actually is something big, like behind the scenes. The
Oh,
rules
absolutely.
engine would be great.
So basically they did a live stream on Twitch, which I'm sure will be archived for everybody to watch if they're interested. They had Amaz and Gabby Spartz, Amaz being a very, very large Hearthstone streamer particularly. Although he does do a few other things. He was given a You're Famous invite to the last Pro Tour and a Tude. I think I mentioned it actually on the podcast previously. And Gabby Spartz, of course, is a Magic streamer and also does some coverage. And they had a couple other people there just chatting about things behind the scenes. Jimmy Wong, best known for being on the Command Zone and the game nights and stuff like that.
All-around Magic host.
Yeah, he does hosting for other things as well.
He's a pretty good host.
Yep, he does it professionally, I think, for Disney and stuff.
They had one of the devs of the game and the community
Yeah, the
person?
esports manager person. And they did 2 games. One person, Amaz was piloting dinosaurs, Gabby was piloting pirates, and it was only gameplay that we saw. We did not see any footage of the game outside of the actual matches.
Yeah, what that says to me is that they really have nothing except a bare bones, like, that could have very easily been not a tutorial, a demo.
Yeah.
And without any functionality whatsoever.
Yeah,
Which
so
they basically said.
They did say, yeah, it is pre-alpha, basically.
Yeah.
So it's not anywhere close to going public. They are opening it up to closed beta, although I don't believe they actually said when they're planning on getting that started.
No.
You can apply, you will automatically receive priority closed beta registration if you sign up. And if you are a duels player, as long as you input your, I think it's your duels like CDIS number or something like that. That'll get you priority registration, or if you include your DCI number and you also sign up for an Ixilan pre-release, either online or in person. You will also receive priority registration for that.
Which tells me that they're not going to start the beta until after the pre-release.
For sure, which is in, 3 weeks? So,
yeah.
I'd be surprised if they even got it started immediately after that.
Yeah.
So.
Now, for me, the relevant information, and it's probably relevant for a lot of people, is it is a free-to-play with, if you want to be more competitive and do higher level stuff, you can have in-game purchases. Although they said that by not paying any money, you're not going to miss out on the full expansiveness of the game experience.
Right. So they said that for the closed beta, they're only going to be focusing on Ixilan cards, but their plan, by the time they do launch completely to the public, they will have all standard current cards. And going forward, they will incorporate new cards, but they are not planning on including any cards that are already gone. So, in quotation marks, this isn't to replace MitGo. And so they're only including standard functionality for now. They are planning on doing some limited events later on. So it sounds like their initial program is really not that interesting, to be honest. Looking at it, I just went, oh, it's duels, but with the Magic rule set. That's probably what they should have done in the first place.
For me, I'm excited in so much as I don't have the money myself personally to play MitGo, except when we play for our channel.
Sure.
But I don't have extra money to play. So if I don't have people around to play Magic with, it will give me the opportunity to play for free, which I realized that Duels was supposed to have done as well. But with the better rules engine, I think it will give me more relevant experience.
Yeah, most of the reason I didn't play Duels was because it didn't do the rules of Magic.
Same.
Right?
Yeah. Just the whole passing and priority thing was super irritating.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's supposed to, eventually have kind of similar functionality.
I think the other cool thing is, like, for somebody like my brother, for example, who played Magic way back during Ice Age and stuff like that, he's still a very good player, but he only plays with the cards that he has or we bring and gift to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the money to currently jump into current stuff. And I know he would like to eventually, but he feels like he's so far behind in rules and all of the stuff, that this would be a great way for him, a previous Magic player, to kind of catch up on stuff without that pressure of being in a, paid environment with real people. I mean, it's real people online, but it's totally a different thing.
We don't know that much right now, but if this is what they say it's going to be, it will sort of be a good thing for you to say, hey, if you don't know how to play, maybe check out Arena, which I always did with Duels, but didn't really feel confident about because Duels was not a great example of the Magic rules or a way to
it wasn't
teach
like a perfect
Magic.
analog.
Right.
Yeah. I don't suppose we've heard anything about whether there will be a tutorial mode.
Nope, but I assume there will be. With Duels, there was a initial campaign that you were required to play through, and to basically introduce various aspects of the how Duels interpreted the rules of Magic to you, such that by the end of it you were able to kind of just hop in, and since it was free to play, it's not like you were losing out on anything.
Yeah, that makes
if
sense.
you didn't do well. Now, two interesting things that they have talked about as well. First of all, they said there will not be any trading.
Interesting.
So that is, similar to basically every other free-to-play card game, like Hearthstone or like Duels as well, but very different, of course, to Magic Online, where you are certainly able to trade as much as you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little strange. Well, I guess not strange in this atmosphere. I mean, I'm hoping that this is going to be not a one-for-one analog with any of all the other
free-to-play card games
out there. But I'm looking at Puzzle Quest as an example of what Magic has done so far and really dropped the ball as far as community and monetization of their products.
Yeah, they're a little heavy-handed with their monetization for that, aren't they?
And the same with Magic Online.
Oh yeah, like $10 to get the initial package, which doesn't really do anything actually real.
Yeah, like in Magic Online, you should be able to play casual with cards you don't own. You should be able to test decks before going in to buy cards for their, queues or whatever. Mm-hmm. But
I think you'd find that people might would bring in another group of people if you were able to. Yeah, because I would play Standard more online if I could try out some stuff first before I commit to buying all of the cards.
And then, that's what's keeping me from getting into queues online, is that I can't test a deck first before investing in it. Yeah. And then if you had to then buy the cards or trade for the cards to get into online events, that would be something else. But that's sort of off topic. I'm more...
Oh, not really. But, I mean, another interesting thing that they mentioned, they also, at the same time as doing the Twitch stream, they released an article where they detailed a few things that, they had just... They also did cover basically in the Twitch stream, but just it was in a written format. And they also released an FAQ that can be accessed through the MTG website. And on the FAQ, what they said was that they're thinking, and no definite plans, again, this is very early in the development process, they're thinking about having rewards that do cross over from the in-person to the MTG Arena.
So like you were saying, like Pokemon.
Yeah, so basically how Pokemon does it, if you buy a pack, you go into a game shop, you buy a pack of Pokemon cards, you receive a code, you put it in online, and you receive that exact same pack online.
Oh, that's cool.
You only have to pay the once, and that way you don't feel like you're wasting your money by having to have a standard deck in person and also on Mitgo or whatever.
I like that.
Now, that's not exactly what they said, but they did say that they were thinking about having, like, bonuses, so if you attended a pre-release, you might get some benefit in Magic Arena for having done so. I assume it would be something more like a promo card.
Yeah, probably. Which
Hearthstone actually did at the beginning. There were a couple of promo cards for attending BlizzCons that you could only receive by doing that. So again, they very early on in the development, for many of the answers that were asked during the Q&A that they took, it was basically, we're not sure. We're hoping that we'll get a lot of feedback from the community during the closed beta, and that'll help us pinpoint things.
I did like the fact that it's early enough. One of the questions that was asked was something about the tap animation, that it was really weird to see cards sitting the way they were sitting on the screen, and the question was, is this just the way it's going to be, or are you guys open to us saying, no, that looks really dumb? He says, no. He says, we're trying everything. That's where we are right now, but that's only where we are right now. So absolutely, people, use your voice, because that's what we want. We want to hear people talk.
And
that's great.
Honestly, that is the point of a closed beta. Like, regardless of how people like Blizzard tend to use them, I mean, I've been in closed betas and alphas and stuff like that for Blizzard, and they aren't necessarily looking for that much feedback conceptually. Like, they want to know if something doesn't work or if you run into a weird bug or whatever, but Blizzard has their own design. With something like this, they're really looking for people to participate in their closed beta who will have feedback. People who are interested in helping them to, streamline design and stuff.
That's really hopeful.
Well, my closed beta experience is mostly with Blizzard. And I did 2 different ones. One was on an expansion, and that was simply just looking for bugs and trying to figure out where things didn't work and whatnot. But the other one was my guild was chosen to get into a raid early. And they wanted not just to know how it worked, but how much we engaged with the stuff. Did it feel right? Did we find that it was really difficult and the story just didn't have the right payoff? And so that's what I really like to see from a game studio, that offers you this opportunity to get involved, that they want your feedback.
So if you are interested in giving this a try early, but you just kind of want to play around with it, maybe wait for the open beta.
Yeah.
If you are interested in actually providing feedback and, you are interested in having some small voice in how things do proceed, then you can sign up for the closed beta today. Like, it's available online. So.
And what is the...
Play MTG
Arena.com.
Yeah. It's really easy to sign up, so...
The biggest thing that's going to make a difference for me is how functional the... what do you call it? The interface is. Like, how easy can I jump into a game? Because that's another place that both Puzzle Quest and MTGO really fall down.
Oh, absolutely.
More MTGO than Puzzle Quest, but still, like, I should be able to load up the game and hit play and just be able to play something, right?
I have my own kind of I'm wondering about, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who is, on a computer that saw its glory day a few moons ago. So I wonder if you're going to be able to turn down some of the graphic animations. Because it was pretty intense.
There were a lot, and also they said that they are, first of all, like, starting off with having a lot of the animations on, like, the rares and the mythic rares, the cards that have a big impact when they are played or when they enter the battlefield or whatever. But they also said that they are planning on keeping up with what the meta looks like. So if some uncommon comes in and starts making a big splash, they would then go, oh, this is a card that should make an impact when it's played. So we're going to add an animation for that, even though we wouldn't normally do that for an uncommon.
Which is a little... I mean, it's understandable, but imagine if you're playing a lightning strike, and every time you play a lightning strike, there's a 10-second animation.
Yeah, they didn't seem to be very long. They were at second
They were
or two
very
at
clear
most.
about saying that they were very fast and...
On the other hand, I found it just way too busy. Like, the screen, there were, like, lights flashing everywhere. When you played a card, the mana, like, shot out at the card as it was on the stack
and that is
or whatever.
not an unimportant point, because there are people... I mean, you start to get into... accessibility issues when you start in a game like this, which traditionally on MitGo, I don't imagine you'd have a lot of epileptic trigger problems with that particular game, but it looks like this one could
and not only that,
create a problem.
If you are used to playing on MitGo,
Yeah.
and then you go here, you're going to be like, oh my god, this is cartoony. Like,
It
this is
felt
not
very...
a serious actual...
Yeah, it felt very cartoony.
I mean,
for sure.
on the other hand, if you don't like the MitGo aesthetic, this is very different. So this might be more up your alley.
Sure.
It's funny how it both... Now, we were watching on a fairly sizable screen.
Yes.
Like, it was a good-sized monitor.
It is a former TV.
And it's funny how it both looked cluttered and simplistic at the same time. Like, they didn't have all the information you needed. Well, you could mouse over all of the cards and see what they were. So that's fine.
Yeah.
But they also had the animations, like you said, that just seemed too busy. And I'm assuming you'll be able to turn those off?
I would think so. I mean, you can in MitGo, and you can kind of do that in similar games.
So when a company is demoing something for the first time, like they were, all of the graphics are going to be on high.
Of course they are.
All of the sounds are going to be like their best quality and whatever. So I imagine you'll be able to scale those back to almost nothing.
Probably.
But
And
there's really no way to tell right now.
and again, this is still like a super early build.
Yeah.
So if it turns out that a lot of people give feedback saying, oh, we want it this way, or oh, we want it this way, like pretty much every, pre-alpha game I've ever seen looks completely different when it's released to the public. So
one interesting struggle that I had, just because this is Magic and I'm used to playing it across a real table, was that all of the opponent's stuff came into the battlefield face up, which was weird. It was freaking me out, because usually the opponent's cards are upside down.
Yes.
In fact, like, you didn't even notice, right?
No.
Like,
I did, because
you
you complained about it.
I didn't notice it because I play Hearthstone, so it's not something I thought about, but
The other thing that was weird was that their life total was right side up too, whereas when they were at either 6 or 9, I was having a weird thing, because I'm used to seeing my opponent's life total upside down
if it's at 6 or 9.
Now, that's not a fault of the game. That's just one of those weird...
But if they are trying to appeal to the tabletop audience, which they specifically said they are, it's something to consider.
Yeah, it's just... I would enjoy a toggle for, what is it? The
tabletop version, or...
What is it that you call it in a flight sim? When you invert the...
In the mouse inversion thing?
Yeah, mouse inversion.
Yeah.
Card inversion. So, I don't know. Anyway, if I get into the beta, I'm going to have lots of feedback for them.
Yeah.
Positive, constructive, I'm sure. Anyway.
So, aside from the small fact that they... At this point, I think it's fairly obvious that they completely dumped the existing MTG duels on very short notice, specifically because this game is designed to be that, but better. Which is not great for existing duels players, or at least the ones that were existing at the time when they made the announcement, so that still sucks for them.
Yeah.
Man, their community people have just not been doing their best work recently,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Do you know what I really did enjoy, though?
What?
Was a chance to get a look at some of the Ixilan cards in action.
Yes.
That was really cool.
That was really cool.
I don't know if you guys noticed, Hostage Takers was errated.
On the, yeah.
Good stuff. Good.
So
That's going to be interesting.
Certainly one benefit of playing online.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was really interesting.
Yes, they did also, like Tam said, spoil a couple of cards that had not previously been seen.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you'll be able to find those online. And speaking
yes.
of spoilers, unless anyone had something else to add.
Nope.
No, I'm good.
There have been more. Big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers, no.
Not only that, I mean, obviously we are talking about Ixilan, but I believe Eternal Masters is going to be, or Iconic Masters, whichever one's showing up at HasCon, is going to be completely spoiled in a few days.
What?
They're releasing all of them.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
Tomorrow, maybe? So stay tuned. Well, not to us, but definitely check out the interwebs for that if you're interested. I'm sure we'll be talking about it next week.
Wasn't there something about Unstable coming out too?
Well, it is coming out, yes.
It is coming out.
At
All
some
right.
point. I don't think that they've really announced when it is that they're doing spoilers for it yet, but
Yeah, fair. So, Ixilan.
so Ixilan, tell
What
us
do we
about
think
it,
of
Step.
it? Well, okay, so they have spoiled both the Planeswalkers and the Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers as well.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have a little
Have they said
conversation.
that they're only going to be the two Planeswalkers?
No, they haven't. But they're I don't know if you'd call them flagship, but they're the ones that appear in the Planeswalker decks. Mm-hmm. So those are the ones that have been spoiled in the actual set as well.
Sure.
I just wanted to have a conversation about the Planeswalker deck Jace.
Okay, let's
we
have a
may.
conversation. Tell us about it, Step.
So Jace Ingenious Mind Mage is...
I don't know. I mean,
You have a problem with Ingenious Mind Mage?
look, I'm just saying that the man has memory wiped himself about 8 zillion times. I
Yeah.
don't know that he's what I would call necessarily the ingenious.
Well, he did just get wrecked by Bolas.
Does that make him ingenious?
It means that he's fallible, or that Bolas is just that good?
What part of that makes Jason... Okay. So, Jace Ingenious Mind Mage.
4 blue for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker.
I'm out. 6
Really?
mana is much too much for anything.
Are you sure? His +1 is draw a card.
I like it, but...
You like it, but...
I like it, but 6 mana is a lot.
His other
But you're playing
+1...
in blue.
Yes,
So
unless
control.
unless
You're
you're
going
playing,
long
of course,
game.
unless you're playing my favorite archetype of Simic, which gets you to 6 mana by turn 4.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
His other +1
Yeah.
is untap all creatures you control.
Okay.
Like all of those mana dorks that you use to cast Jace.
Okay.
Then his -9 is gain control of up to 3 target creatures. What do you think of 6 mana, draw a card for the next, infinite turns?
You can do better.
Yeah? I'm just curious if this one might be a, maybe not standard playable, but somewhere playable Planeswalker deck Jace.
Which would you rather have? This or Pull Through Tomorrow?
I see your point. I don't know. You can tutor him up with, what is it?
Yeah, you'd rather have the Pull from Tomorrow.
Jace's Sentinel?
So, all I'm saying, historically speaking, the Planeswalkers are dreadful. And 6 mana is an awful lot to be spending on a Planeswalker.
I would say underpowered.
Fine. They're not usually standard playable.
I
How
think
is
it's a
that?
fun card.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
In a Planeswalker deck experience, it looks like a card that's going to get to draw you a bunch of extra cards. And that's
Alright.
always fun.
So how about the opposing Planeswalker deck Planeswalker?
The
Will you get to turn 6 so that you can start drawing cards for infinite value?
Well, she's also 6 mana.
So
For
probably.
a 4 loyalty Planeswalker.
Oh
So,
my god,
I mean,
inferior.
right? She is 4 red-white for a legendary Planeswalker Hotly. And I'm sure this will be hotly contested.
You're terrible.
Her +2 is put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target dinosaur you control.
Okay. Wait, so already she combos very well with actual Planeswalker Holly.
Yes,
which creates dinosaurs with her 0.
Mm-hmm.
Her -3 is target dinosaur you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control.
Okay.
I want to put a pin in that and come back to it.
Okay.
Her -7 is dinosaurs you control get +4/+4 until end of turn.
Alright, so you can play her and immediately minus her to have your dude punch another dude.
Yep.
Or you can plus her 3 times and then minus her and maybe win the game.
Yep.
Okay.
So, again, she's just okay, but
I think it's interesting that one of the decks is blue and one's red-white. But...
I mean, it's going to be blue-green because Woodland Stream has been confirmed. Yeah. But blue-green versus red-white, yeah. I also find it interesting, and let's check out actual Hotly.
Yes, alright.
So, actual Hotly, we talked about Jace last week. This time we're talking about the interesting Planeswalker. Warrior Poet is 3 red-white for a legendary Planeswalker Hotly at 3 loyalty.
And I've got to say, from the artwork, she looks like she could take him.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Her +2 is you gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control.
So, anywhere from 0 to, 8, realistically.
Sure, yeah. I'm gonna just call that gain 4 life.
In red-white? Probably.
Well, see, and here's the thing. I want to come back to that statement.
Yes.
Her 0 is create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample.
Yeah. Which could then, maybe fist fight another dude.
If you had both of them?
With other Hatley, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Her -X is she deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures. Creatures dealt damage this way can't block this turn.
So, I've heard a few people talking about this. I have to say, there's a spell from, Ravnica, I think, Aurelia's Fury? Yeah, which does something similar. Mm-hmm. And I've played that card in Cube before. Mm-hmm. In the deck that wants it, it's amazing. Sure. Because it's basically... I mean, first of all, you can go 1 damage to each of your creatures, +5 to your face, and then I'm going to hit you for lethal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The fact that this is repeatable, you could do it for 1. Yeah. Any number of, 3 turns, realistically.
Assuming you haven't plused her at any point.
If they have 1 creature. And that seems like great value in that scenario. Yeah. What I want to say is that both of these feel very green to me.
Kind of, yeah. Or at least they feel like they belong in some form of
in a Naya
deck. Yeah.
She feels a lot like Garruk with the making 3/3 beasts. They're dinosaurs, but they're basically beasts with trample. And then the other Hotly, where I stuck the pin, was at the
which
deals damage equal to its power to a creature you don't control.
Which is Ambuscade in this particular set, which is a green card, because it's almost always a green card. Green removal is usually some variation of this.
That effect has been in red, but it is a green ability. And the dinosaurs get +4/+4. They don't get trample, but that's very similar to Overrun.
And not only that, but a lot of the dinosaurs in this set are some combination of Naya colors. Yeah. A lot of them are green because they're dinosaurs, but there are also red and white ones. So it seems like they're setting up to have some sort of Naya tribal deck. Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if she wasn't too red, white, green in development, and then no, that's too tough to cast. Let's scale it back. What do you think?
It's possible.
I like it. The only other red-white Planeswalker I know of is a Ajani Vengeant, which is completely different from this, so...
Nahiri.
Oh, right, Nahiri,
just rotating out.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I never played with Nahiri.
I am very much looking forward to getting...
Your hands on her?
Cross my fingers.
Crushed by her?
No, play her. She's right up my alley.
She's a lot better than the last red-ish female Planeswalker we saw.
Chandra?
The last one? Semut? Oh. Semut was last.
Yeah, but she's not red. She's
red-green.
Yeah. I think it's...
reddish.
I think it's interesting I mean, obviously they were not expecting current standard because current standard has bans that they weren't foreseeing when they were initially doing testing and stuff like that. But like currently there's a mono red deck which is not seeing anything of importance really rotating out. Incendiary float's going, but it's being replaced by lightning strike. So basically the
actual
deck,
lightning strike.
yeah, which is at an instant. You lose the exile clause, but you can still do it at an instant speed, and it's basically the same otherwise.
By the by, lightning strike right there.
You aren't?
He's on the crow's nest of a ship.
Interesting.
So, I mean, Ramen Up Red, assuming it's any good in Standard, will continue to exist as a deck, and it's not going to splash white for this, or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see if there is some new deck, you know, actually beyond the jank that we would tend to put together, which actually would run something like this, or if there is in fact just a straight up tribal deck.
I'm just going to say first pick and draft. Like,
Oh, yeah.
3/3 Salte.
Absolutely.
Also, I just read the flavor text for new lightning strike.
Yeah.
To say.
Storm on the horizon, Captain. Grick Dubin. Last words.
That's good.
Apparently.
Oh, dear.
Yep.
So, yeah, they've, again, have announced that it's being reprinted, which is what people are now saying, because they had announced, oh, we're bringing back, you know, a reprint that you wouldn't be expecting. And they didn't actually specify how many they were going to be doing, so people are basically theorizing that this is going to be it.
I don't think so. I mean, it is a reprint, but it's not one that I wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
So I am crossing my fingers for Birds of Paradise and not getting my hopes
You
up.
and everybody else in the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be
Don't
funny
hold
if
your
they
breath.
do have something, you know, a better reprint. I mean, not the Lightning Strike's not good. It's certainly fine. And, I mean, it's strictly better than Open Fire, which is the same thing but more expensive.
Yep.
Except that this is uncommon and Open Fire is at common.
Yeah, but it's not like shocking or surprising
Yeah,
in
if
any
it
way,
were
shape, or
Lightning
form.
Bolt.
Yeah.
Like,
We'd all be dancing in the
so
streets.
I think they might be saving up something big to counteract the front loading they had to do to make up for all the leaks.
I mean, Spell Pierce, maybe? See, you say that we'd be dancing in the streets about Lightning Bolt, but
Well, I would be. Nobody
honestly, do you want Lightning Bolt in Standard?
No, because then I can't play janky blue do nothing decks.
else. It's true. I
Said the
could crush your
non-red
face.
player.
Like, as much as I like casting Lightning Bolt,
But then again, I think they should reprint more counter spells. So,
well, you've got your Spell Pierce. Which also looks
I don't know
good.
that either of us is strictly right, Tam.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think it's wise to be putting it, especially with a fairly good already mono red deck.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to tip it too far over.
Oh, for
I
and-
mean, Lightning Strike is already getting there. It's
Yeah.
very good. It's an
Yeah.
efficient spell.
I mean, the thing though is, Ramen Up Red is certainly beatable if you expect it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you add something like that to the mix, and it's like, yeek.
yeah.
So, since last week, we've also seen more transform cards. Mm-hmm. And
More lands.
yeah. Are they all lands? I think they're all lands so
The
far.
ones that I've seen so far have been, yeah.
The thing that I like about it is that the one... Which one was it? There was something that became... We just saw it in the...
I think it was one that was spoiled online. So it's 2
Oh, so
and
we
a
haven't
green
seen it
for an
yet.
enchantment card. And basically you look through the top, I think it was 4 cards, and you get to pick a land or a creature and put it into your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have 4 or more creatures on the battlefield, you transform it. And then it turns into a land. And it can either tap for green, or if you have, again, 4 or more creatures on the battlefield, or no, sorry, just in general, I think you can just tap it to add a green for each creature that you have
Oh,
on the
geez.
battlefield. So
Growing Rights of Itlamok, and then Itlamok, Cradle of Sun.
yeah, so basically, if you transform it kind of right away, it's a 3-mana Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah.
That got you a card.
Which
And that taps for green mana even if you have nothing on the battlefield.
is not Gaia's Cradle, but is still very good.
Yeah.
What's it sitting at? Rare?
And, yeah.
Yes, it is
would
a rare. Yeah. So if they have more of this kind of thing where they're reprinting or not reprinting very valuable, very old cards that see play in, cubes and whatnot as transformed lands, That would be sweet.
Yeah, I mean, in your I can't afford a Gaia's Cradle because they're really expensive cube, this would certainly be an alternative for it.
I'm wondering how good would it be in that cube? I guess we'd have to find out.
It would be probably strictly worse just because it actually costs mana. You can't play it on turn 1. Because you can't do it on turn.
Yeah. I mean, you're not... Do you play Gaia's Cradle turn 1?
Not usually, no. So you would go like Forest, tap it for birds, turn 2, play 2 more 1-drops, or play a 2-drop Dork, and then play Gaia's Cradle for 2 more.
So turn 2 or 3, and this is sitting at turn 3, and then you have to do stuff. But still, I love this as a phenomenon.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate... I mean, everybody likes lands that do things. This is kind of the reverse of that. It's a card that does something and then turns into a land, which means,
does stuff.
Yeah, which does stuff as well. So, because even just... I mean, you wouldn't play 2 and a green enchantment, look at the top 4, take 1.
No.
But, I mean, it's not terrible.
No. Yeah, what else do we want to talk about? Oh, of course there's going to be one more Planeswalker that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just by the, I think by the, how do they call it? Yeah.
Well, by the fact that...
I was thinking of more the number of cards.
Oh no, I'm thinking like there's a red-white one, there's a blue one. Obviously there's going to be a black-green one who is a pirate Gorgon who we already know is going to be in the set.
Because she's probably going to be a Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turning a Planeswalker back into a legendary creature.
The thing about Ixilan lore-wise is that it is a plane Planeswalkers cannot Planeswalk from. They are trapped.
That is interesting. I guess we'll see how that
we'll see.
Out,
if you haven't read the story about it, basically Holly is a person whose spark ignites, and she's able to, or like she realizes that there are other planes, but that's about it. It's kind of like you look out the window, you go, oh, there's stuff outside, but you don't realize that there's a door right beside you that you could walk through to get to those other things.
Interesting. Ixilan's Binding is an enchantment. I wonder if it's going to have... Is it a story card? It is a story spotlight. The first story spotlight.
I see.
So, I might as well read it.
Yeah.
3 and a white for an enchantment at uncommon. When Ixilan's Binding enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Ixilan's Binding leaves the battlefield. Your opponents can't cast spells with the same name as the exiled card.
Wow, that part makes it pretty good.
So a 4-mana O-Ring, which O-Rings all other copies of the thing.
Yeah.
That seems sweet.
What's the flavor text?
It's great sideboard material against 8th Works Marvel. Yeah. Oh, wait. The sideboard cards are coming along just a bit too late.
Jace awoke to the certainty that he was lost. So
good that he knows something.
Well,
he's lost.
He's probably forgotten where he came from, and that's the reason.
Poor Jace.
Well, didn't he already forget where he was from?
Yes.
Like, we haven't seen Vryn yet. Don't know when we're going to.
Jace himself doesn't know what's up with Jace.
I don't doubt that.
So
goes with his emo aesthetic.
It's the shapes that the set shaping up to be interesting. A lot of tribal stuff going on again.
Oh yeah. In fact, they just spoiled a black-white Planeswalker in Japanese. Or Planeswalker. Legendary creature.
It's a vampire, right?
Not legendary? Not legendary. Ha, yes. There's a vampire, knight, probably, for 3 black-white, or white-black, with vigilance and lifelink, that you can tap and pay 7 life to destroy target non-land permanent. Activate this ability only during your turn, or possibly at sorcery speed.
And it is a 4/4.
4/4 for 5 that you can...
With Vigilance and Lifelink.
Destroy stuff.
Already play it.
Yeah.
And then occasionally, with the life that you've gained off him, if required, you can kill something.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Vampire Knight? Is this not going to be a vampire pirate?
That would be sweet.
Oh my
Probably
gosh.
not. It looks like one of the Spanish, whatchamacallums.
Conquistadors?
I mean, is wearing the Spanish hat.
Yeah.
So.
Guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see, but it looks pretty interesting.
I'm starting to get hyped.
Well, yeah, we got
Knew it was going to happen.
Pre-release coming up
eventually
in a few weeks.
Yes.
Our local shop has just posted sign-ups for it.
Yep. I have already signed up
I'm
for
shocked.
the Saturday.
Oh, wait.
Me too.
Yeah.
So,
You might not be shocked, but you will be lightning struck.
maybe not.
I guess we'll see.
I don't think we've played against each other at a pre-release for a while. I think the last time was during the Aether Revolt, where I had the... Did I play you with my sweet blue-black mechanized production control deck?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was green-white, I think, with no removal, but lots of creatures.
Who needs removal against a mechanized production control deck that is mono removal dog deck? Yeah, I might have crushed him.
She might have. You actually, I remember, you were the first person to defeat me. And you crushed me mercilessly.
Yeah, I top-8 that. My deck was sweet.
Yeah. Anything that you've seen that you're
No, I think you covered
itching
it
to
all.
talk about? All right.
Thanks.
Well, there will be more spoilers to come.
Yes. So I guess speaking then of FNM, it is September. We had our first Friday with the spiky, foily, expensive Fatal Push promo.
Mm-hmm.
I know we were all slightly, we had a discussion many episodes ago when Wizards first announced that they were discontinuing the cards as promo and switching over to the tokens, the double-sided ones.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about spikies versus, they wanted the more casual players at FNM or whatever their plan was with that. So our store has an kind of, I guess, interesting way of doing things for this particular set of FNMs because they figured attendance would be very high. So for June, July, and August, whenever you attended an FNM, you got a participation counter.
Was it an FNM or any event at the store?
I think it was just FNMs.
Okay.
If you bribed the shop owner with a doubling season, you got double. No, I'm just kidding.
He did say that.
Nor is that my joke, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm ripping that off of our friend Judge John. But yeah, so if you had 3 or more participation counters, you're allowed the chance to register early.
Mm-hmm.
Spacing permitted. Basically, the way the numbers worked out, if you have 4 or more participation counters, you're guaranteed a spot if you want it and you register in time.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 3, it depends on how many other people are wanting to go. And then last week, basically, it worked out such that approximately half the people who were there had participation counters, and the other half were just people who either played at the shop occasionally, or... I think there were probably a couple of people who hadn't really played there before, but there was
a lot of faces
them,
I did not know.
So,
it was interesting.
Yeah, registration starts on Monday on the Facebook group, and then open registration starts on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And as of Wednesday morning this week, FNM was full.
Which is funny, because last week, it didn't fill up until late Thursday.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess there were a few people who didn't get to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this week I know all the names on the list.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
it's going to be nice. It's going to be like Cheers.
Yeah. So, anyways, how did everybody do? Steph and I were in the same draft pod. Tams was not. So, Tams, how about you go first?
Sure. I was in a great group. I had a lot of fun with the people that I was with, which is so nice,
Oh, absolutely.
I did something I never do, and I didn't listen to myself when I drafted. I didn't listen to how I draft normally, and I didn't listen to that little voice. It's like, don't do that. That's dumb. I wasn't playing for a Fatal Push. I really don't care that much one way or the other. So I opened my pack, and the rare is an Earthshaker Kenra, which... That's a great first pick.
Yes.
Sure, especially for me and Red.
Yeah.
And we don't have many.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, great. However, there is something else to be said. There was also an Open Fire. Mm-hmm. There was also a Ramanap Ruins. And there was also another really good red card. Don't remember what it was. And there was also the uncommon was the big green...
Sifter Worm.
So I'm looking at the pack, and I know... The next 4 people in a row. I know who they are, and I know what they draft. And I know darn well they're going to pick up the red cards that I'm passing on. And they're going to think, these are premium red cards. This is awesome. Red's going to be open. This is going to be so good. And I thought to myself, the person sitting next to me also drafts green. So if I pass him the green, he's going to take it, and he's going to go into green. And I still went into red. And I'm like, ugh. And so that was my first mistake right there. But, so I started cutting red, which was fine. And then I had a conversation a couple of times with a couple of people about drafting, aggressive decks. And I have a tendency to pick up every piece of removal I can find. And I do removal.deck. And somebody questioned that and was like, maybe you should think about just having more creatures, less removal, more creatures. If you're going to run an aggressive deck, you want, a lot of creatures. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to try that, and I'm going to pass this decent removal. I'll get a couple pieces later because this is a really good aggressive creature, where normally I would take the good removal. I paid for it. I'm never doing that again. Oh my god. So I went 0-3.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was miserable. Now, to be fair, the deck is fine. It's perfectly
Fine.
It's fine. It's good. It's solid. It's reliable, so to speak. But it wasn't reliable because I just had one of those nights where you just could not get the lands you need when you need it. I just was like, hey, look, 856 lands and no creature cards. Or, hey, look, I never got my red. It was just one of those nights, and that wasn't the deck. That said, I have a Sandblast, a Blur of Blades, and an Act of Heroism, as
Ouch.
far as... And then I'm running a Pursue Glory and a Trial of Solidarity. So, yeah.
No
I mean,
removal,
the trial
huh?
is good.
That's not removal for me, man.
Nope.
No.
The Sandblast was great, but the thing is, when you have so little removal, you're just sitting there. And the thing is, in red, and I should have listened to myself, because in green, you can go a little lighter in your removal because you've got 5/4s and 6/7s, and you're like, okay, a big creature's as good as a removal spell. I'll just block your creature and kill it. But in red, when you're running a bunch of 2/1s and 3/2s and 3/1s, there's not much removal going on there. So it was the experience was fun. I had a lot of fun playing the people I played, but I'm just going to listen to myself from now on.
I mean, now you have more data, and Magic, it's
Absolutely
not a bad thing to try something and see how it works. I mean, it is also a mistake to base an opinion on, the results of one thing, but it's just more data.
It's true, absolutely. And that's the thing, is I've been trying to look at how I draft and see where I've fallen into the trap of samesies all the time, and thinking, okay, well, it works, but is there something I could be doing better?
Yeah.
Could I be tightening this up? Could this be a little different? And I've been asking Step questions like, okay, so what do you consider to be an aggro deck? What does an aggro deck typically have in your brain? Or what does a control deck have? Like, what kind of... Because I'm curious, because everyone will have their own slightly different idea. And so this week was just a trial. Okay, I'm going to try and do it this way. And I really want that Urshaker Kenra. And I mean, it doesn't mean that I couldn't have jumped into another color. And midway through pack 2, I was like, damn it, I should be in black. There was some really sweet black removal going around that wasn't being taken.
Yeah.
And normally I would have jumped. Because I have no compunction about jumping.
And I mean, that is an interesting draft strategy to go, okay, I'm probably putting the next few people to my left, at least their second, third, fourth, whatever pick's going to be probably red. So on pack 1, I'm just going to cut red as hard as I can. And then pack 2, I'm going to see what everybody passes me. Yeah. And I'm just going to take the best color in that direction. And then pack 3, I can swap back into red.
Yeah. My problem was that the packs that I had coming my way, there just wasn't a ton of red anyway. So it didn't really work as well as I would have liked. So I ended up going red-white. And it's fine. Yeah. But I didn't do very well, so...
It's a strange issue of these packs anyway. We've talked about it before. And just the pack curation is weird.
Yeah, there's...
It is.
Like, color clumping. We had even a couple people in our pod mention that and go, hey, do you remember that one pack where there were literally 6 quite playable, good quality green cards?
Yes.
And there were 3 green drafters at least.
Yeah.
But, even
4 first pickable red cards in your pack, and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sending a signal here, but I don't mean to do so.
Yeah. I think I talked about a draft early in the format about, or maybe in Amonkhet about that, where...
I think it was Amonkhet.
The 4th guy in a row was like, this is a signal, this shouldn't be here. I knew, because I opened that pack, what was in that pack, and... That was just the 4th best red card, but it was still a first pick, right?
Yeah.
And just
So weird.
It was a magma spray, so it must have been or a
No.
magma jet, whatever.
Magma
It was.
spray.
Magma
is
spray.
The 1 mana red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it must have been Nom and Cat.
Yeah.
So how about you guys? How was your pool?
Well, like you said, or like Laura was saying, our pool was a little weird.
Yeah, our pod was a bit odd. Yes,
Um,
thank you, Step. Some of us can do it too.
What?
Fun with words.
Odd?
Your pod was on.
Right.
Odd? Oh. See,
We'll
and
walk
here I
you
was
through it,
thinking,
it's,
no, we had a full pot of 8. What are you talking about?
Yes, our pod was really strange. So there were, I think, 4 people, including myself, who I knew.
Mm-hmm.
There was another person who I knew just through the community, but whom I never actually drafted with. There's someone who was fairly new to drafting, which always makes interesting signals
Yeah.
happen. And so
And there was a veteran who hadn't been, like, when I played against him, he tried to put damage on the stack.
I remember that.
And I'm like,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's old school.
Yeah.
is like, sack this with damage on the stack kind of thing. And like, that's not...
Sorry, that doesn't
damage doesn't go on the stack.
doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience.
Yeah. So, how did you do?
I went...
What did you draft?
Okay, so my pack 1 pick 1 was... I was going in ready to win a Fatal Push.
Right.
And so my pack 1 pick 1 was Angel of Condemnation. And I'm like, boom, if I can play this, I'm going to win some games.
Yep.
And it turns out I was right, except that I was not in white.
Oh dear.
Yes.
So my deck was blue-green, and when I opened pack 2, when I got past 3rd pick, an Amit Eternal in pack 2, I decided to take it.
As
and
you do.
then not see any more black cards. So it's just, somebody didn't read this card and see how good it is.
It was opened directly to my left.
Ah,
I was in black.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that must have been
And
painful.
the fellow directly to your left, I believe, or to your right, was also in black, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, the guy who opened it was also in black.
but he didn't know how good
He did
it
not
is.
read the card 100%. I don't think he was very familiar with the set.
It's funny because if you don't know, Amit Eternal doesn't look that good. It's 2 and a black.
It's a 3-mana 5/5. It looks
for
amazing.
a 5/5 with a flick 3. So that all looks great, right? But then whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on it. So you're like, oh, it's just going to kill itself. That's no good.
Here's the thing. I still remember being new to Magic, so I can tell you, was he a fairly new player?
I don't know.
Because
He was one of the people who was new to us.
okay,
Yeah.
because for me, when you start getting into stuff like that where I'm not sure I understand it and I don't understand the
format?
I don't understand what the rules are and how this is going to play. I just pass it because I'm not going to bother trying to figure it out.
Right.
Okay, fair.
It's just funny, he actually ended up in red-black,
Yeah.
which is exactly where this card
so
wants.
Yeah.
good. So
Anyway,
good.
I picked it up because I thought, that's a splashable black card.
Yeah, I mean, it's also could be very well a signal the black's super open.
I also got past a Resilient Kenra when I was already in green. I got more fixing than I thought I was going to, because I
But
wanted.
Steph, it sounds like you're in 5 colors.
It does, doesn't it? So I was in blue-green, and during building, I was trying to decide which of these to splash, and then the evil angel to my right, whose name is Mike,
Just saying.
said, "Why not splash both of them?"
Of course,
Come on.
he also had another voice on the other side saying, "Listen to Mike. Listen to
Yeah,
Mike."
to be fair, you not only started that conversation with him, you said, "Please, I'm thinking about splashing both of them. You know, what are your thoughts, knowing that he is the greediest player?"
Yeah. No, I completely did that to myself, and then I went 2-1. So, not bad.
So you brought home a fatal push.
I did bring home a fatal push. I lost a game to someone I don't know might have been playing. What were you playing, Laura?
It was black-green. So, yeah, my draft was super confusing to start with. Once I had picked a plan, I was fully engaged.
Okay.
But my pack 1 went white card out of a super mediocre pack. My pack 2 was a red card, common. It was actually the the Firebrand Archer, the 2/1 that ping stump, out of a super mediocre pack.
Yeah.
Pack 3 was a Sifter Worm.
Ooh.
I went, oh, green must be open.
I guess.
So, look, I picked the first 2 cards going, none of these cards are first pickable. I'm just going to pick the best card out of each of these, according to me, based on the information that I have playing the format and what I like to play in the format. Mm-hmm. But I'm staying super open. I'm not married to either of these.
Seems good.
As opposed to, where you go, oh, I'm first picking a bomb. I'm staying in that color. I don't care what anyone else is doing. I call this the complete opposite of that, where you first pick miserable garbage and you are hoping to jump out. Mm-hmm. So yes, I got 3rd pick Sifterworm, 4th pick the black-green spider. Went, that's also a signal. I'm going to see if black's open. And then I ended up black-green. Black was fairly open. Mm-hmm. Green was also fairly open. There was another player who's, I believe, 3 over to my right, so almost across the table from me, who was in the exact same deck, but nobody else was. A couple other people were like in black or blackish. A couple of people were green or greenish, but we were the only 2 actual black-green players, and we, I think, prioritized things a bit differently. Mm-hmm. So I felt like the deck was pretty open. He also felt like the deck was pretty open, and we actually ended up playing in the first round. Our games were super close. I'm splashed the white side of Appeal to Authority off of a single Manolith. It was my only white source. My deck had a lot of creatures. It had a lot of low drops. Aside from the Sifter Worm, I didn't have anything that cost more than 4. So my plan was just get a bunch of things on the board, hit him in the air with a Carrion Screecher, or just hit him on the ground with a big Trampler, or kind of grind him out. I had an Ambuscade, I had a couple of green removal spells, that sort of thing. And then I also had one of the Gift of Strength, is the one in the green, +3/+3. Mm-hmm. I probably like that card more than most people do. I mean, I'm not saying I love it. I'm saying I think that it is playable if you don't have a better removal spell, but I consider it to be basically removal.
It worked against my Angel.
Yeah, in green is basically removal. Mm-hmm. Or at least in the green decks that I tend to draft. So yeah, like I had a couple of super grindy games against the other green-black player where it was not really a board stall, but it was a race, except he didn't realize that I was going to win it because I had Appeal or I'd Give to Strength in my hand, and that's how I was doing the math.
Right.
Whereas he was doing the math with what was on board.
Right.
Especially because, when you have an Appeal, you're more in your deck somewhere. You're much more likely to play out most of your creatures.
Yeah.
So I often only had 1 card in hand. He just didn't know that it was a Gift of Strength or something like that.
If you're doing the math on board and your opponent is still racing, then you should know you're doing the math wrong.
Well, the thing is, he had a flyer.
Okay. Yeah.
I did not have anything on the board that had reach.
Okay.
So in his mind, I was racing because I had no choice because I couldn't beat his flyer. In my mind, I was choosing not to use the Gift of Strength to kill his flyer because I was going to use it to kill his face.
Him, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So anyways, we did that. Then round 2, I played someone who was playing 18 colors. And played his Angel of Condemnation twice, except it got removed before it could even... before he could untap with it.
Yeah, both times. And that's how she beat me.
And that's... I've played Angel of Condemnation once before the GP.
Yeah.
That's how I beat it there, too. I just keep removal.
And while you mentioned it, like, before getting into the games, the draft, the first pack, all round, was fairly weak. Yeah. I didn't remember that until... I just remembered that my pack 1, pick 2 was a Desert of the True because I took the Angel and there was nothing.
Yeah, the packs going around were not amazing.
Yeah.
I was actually very sad. I didn't see my Sifter Worm or my Spider in any of my games.
Oh.
Well, I saw my Spider, I got to play it, it immediately got killed. That was that.
Well, they made your deck better.
That was it. It was funny, but again, I basically did to you the same thing. Like, I was like, oh, okay, well, I will attack you in the air for lethal with my Appeal.
Yep.
Because you can't do anything about it.
Yep.
So that was kind of how I won the 3rd round as well, which I did. I 3-0'd, so I won the draft, which is great.
Nice.
I didn't have to play the guy who I've lost to in the finals for the last 2 weeks in a row, because he 0-2 dropped, after playing also a 4-color monstrosity, I think.
Yeah, his didn't have an Angel of Condemnation.
It also didn't have quite the fixing that yours did.
It also didn't get the Omid Eternal, which he would have loved to get, but I took, so.
So I think round 3 I was playing, I think it was red-blue.
So you're playing what he would play anyway.
Basically. And yeah, just our games, again, they went quite long. We were actually the last 2 there.
We left before you were even done.
Yeah, we intentionally drew, so we were just playing for the extra pack, so nobody was waiting on us for results before they could get their prizes. Everybody knew where they placed once everybody else had finished. But yeah, our third game especially went super, super long, and then it was basically who had more stuff in hand, and he top decked a couple lands in a row. I top decked a couple lands plus an appeal to authority in a row and won the game immediately. Yeah. Because appeal is just that good in a creature deck.
My first round was like that, where we were top decking, but my opponent was making bad decisions, so...
That's tough, because, like, you're happy, but you also feel bad.
Yeah, like, I had my Angel in hand the first game and didn't even play it because I didn't want to commit more. Like, I was winning, so if there was no reason to play it, I wasn't going to play it. Yeah. You know?
I think one of the things that's probably made me a better Magic player, and that I think has allowed me to do a lot better at FNMs for the past year or so, I've just gotten a lot more patient with removal. So especially when I'm playing a creature deck and I know that my plan is to just, kind of trade if I need to, and if not, hit him in the face a lot. And then when someone plays an Angel of Condemnation, like, oh, I've had this Ambuscade in my hand for the entire game. I've literally never really needed to use it because I've always been happy with how things are going. Now I have the answer right away. I don't have to worry about it. And yeah, I think that, being a bit more patient with removal when you have the luxury of doing so, and just having made mistakes that ended horribly as learning experiences.
It's funny because my level up was in the opposite direction, where I have always been very patient with using resources in video games, especially. Like any RPG, I'll come to the end of and never have used a potion, because I just go back to the inn and heal or whatever, like even if it takes 20 minutes to get there. So that sort of thing is common for me. So realizing that I can maybe make this game 5 rounds quicker if I just take this creature out now and continue to swing, that was what I really needed to work on. And of course it's a balance of the two, right?
Absolutely.
But like,
and it's also deck dependent and matchup dependent.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you can 2 for 1 them, maybe that makes it worth it, dependent. But if this is literally the only removal spell you have in your deck, that's something to consider, and what bombs they have. So that's why we like Magic, right? It's complicated.
Yep.
So back to the initial topic, now that we've talked about how things went. Was it too spiky for us? Was there a difference?
There was definitely a difference. I noticed that well, like you said, there were a couple of people who had never been out before, and at least 2 of them were spiking it. The guy who O2 dropped is usually first, second, or third.
Well, that is true, but I mean, he also had 13 participation counters. He's almost always at FNM.
Yeah.
So he's just also a very good player.
Yeah.
I was in the...
You were in the fun pod.
In the pod with the regular crew, so I really didn't notice any discernible difference.
You were in the party pod.
Yeah, I was. I wasn't the only one of our pod who just had no luck. Judge John was also in my group, and he had an amazing deck.
His deck was basically mine, but better.
Yeah, and he had the same issues I had. He just could not catch a break. His was way better than mine. I never played him, but he also didn't luck out. But no, I don't think I noticed any real difference. There were some really grindy games, super grindy games. Thankfully, I wasn't in them. But
yeah, that's funny. Actually, we had a super slow player in our pod, so all of our rounds went to turns except for the final one, because that one didn't matter as much.
Yeah. That was where patience came in handy. In the first, he was my round 1 opponent. Yeah. I think he was just not confident in his play yet. Like, that was kind of what I got from why he was taking so long.
New. I think he was one of the ones who'd only drafted like once before.
Yeah, which is fine, because you want to make sure you're playing your best.
Yes,
but it does get wearing a little bit.
Fortunately, none of our games in our pod ended in a draw.
No.
Our round 3 where we ID'd was the only draw in our pod.
There was a draw in our pod.
Yeah. So,
was fine.
if I recall, though, you barely finished. You guys were on turns.
Yes, that is true. I would have 1 in 1 if I hadn't killed him.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Or if he managed to squeeze it out. Yeah.
I was a little concerned about that, but suddenly we have...
The downpour.
I was a little concerned about that just because we had both been top decking, so he could have maybe turned it, but I was playing very carefully not to let that happen if at all possible, you know?
So I also didn't notice that much of a difference. My round 1 opponent was absolutely there to spike. He was actually one of the ones who I knew just through the community because that's the kind of player that he is, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a different experience, but you will also just occasionally play a player who's taking it more seriously than you are, and that's, again, fine. You were my second round opponent, and my third round opponent was against the nicest player in Magic, almost, so... I was also playing against people that I knew, so I didn't notice much of a change.
I wasn't
in
playing
atmosphere.
against people that I knew, so I noticed because of that.
Yeah. But
anyway.
I mean, again, also in round 3, though, both me and my opponent knew we were getting promos.
Yeah.
So we were just playing for a pack, which is usually not that big a deal at the FNM level.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I think it's very funny that our shop, which always does a rainbow draft the week before the new pre-release, is going to have 3 drafts of Hour of Devastation, 1 rainbow draft, and 1 Ixilan draft for September for the promo.
That's amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting.
I want to see people spike a rainbow draft.
Absolutely, which we may not have mentioned it previously. Former rainbow drafts have involved the casting and winning of the game through the use of, like, Ingurg's Wake, the 9-mana one-sided
So
board
good,
wake,
so good.
and, like, ridiculous combo-y nonsense involving flickering all permanents and stuff.
Yeah.
So they get really silly. I'm super looking forward to it.
I haven't gotten to play a store rainbow draft in a very long
Me
time.
Me neither.
I missed the last bunch, but I finally figured out how to rainbow draft and win. So
is it play red-white?
Yeah. Hope you're not in my pod. I'm taking you down.
So yeah, I mean, the last thing to talk about then really is just League.
Yeah, I am no longer first.
Oh, here, I'll start. I fell out of top 8. That's all there is to say.
I
missed.
We don't know that.
No, I do know that because I went 0-4 this week.
Oh.
Yeah, I could not. I had the worst. I had the most fun and the worst luck. John and I went toe-to-toe again, and now we're like 50-50.
Yeah.
Win-loss against each other.
Every time you play him, you're like, God, I had such good games against John.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so back and forth. Yeah, it's really fun. But I just could not catch any sort of break. I mulliganed. And I mean, they weren't even borderline mulligans. They're, you draw 7 and you have 0 land.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to throw that back.
Of course you are.
You pull 6 and you have, all of your top end, which isn't a lot, but still, 1 color, and it's not even in that.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, no. So I mulled to 5 in almost every game. I just could not get there. And
we mulled to 5, both of us, didn't we?
Yeah, I played against Sep, and they were some back and forth. Like, I had some really fun interactions.
Those were fun games, yeah.
Yeah, you almost got there in the second game against him, even after mulling to 5.
And that's the best feeling, because my deck does mulligan very well. The other problem that I had is I am also still 2 rounds behind everybody else. I didn't catch up my stuff that I missed the week that we missed, so that also is impacting my standing. But that's fine, because that means our store, because our shop owner is amazing, has a second bracket to play for prizes. So.
Or you can bring your deck with you tomorrow and try and make them up around F&M.
That's true. I could try that too.
Or even if you just get 1 in.
That's true.
Could make the difference.
Yeah. So how about you guys?
I went 2-2 this week. I beat Judge... No, I lost to John. I don't remember who I won and lost to, but
you lost to me.
I lost to you.
Yeah.
I lost to Anton, so I beat John, and I must have beat Tams. Right. So yeah, 2-2. And like you said, Judge John is very fun to play against, even if... So, he probably should have won our round, but didn't, because I top decked better than he did because we were both top decking at that point, and he is so polite and pleasant and not very good at hiding the fact that he's extremely salty.
But he's such a sweet person. That's
It's like he's trying not to let you know how irritated he is, but he's totally irritated that you beat him.
And here's the thing: he came into I think I played him. I was his third match maybe of the evening, and he'd already played 2 people, and he was having a run of some losses, and so when he beat me in game 3, I felt really good. I'm like, I'm really glad that I could break your streak, because I felt so bad, because I know how that feels. And he's just such a nice guy that it's hard to watch people.
Well, I think it's just because he
struggle.
always does well in leagues. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's hard to watch people who do so well have some problems, and but I had a lot of fun playing him, so whatever.
How about you?
I went 3-1, so
nice.
I'm definitely top 8, probably top 4.
I think you're first right now.
I was in second place on tiebreakers to Anton, but I beat him.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure how that'll work out. It was first tiebreakers, and he was crushing me on first tiebreakers, so by like 20%. So
I guess we'll find out.
Doesn't really matter. Like first, second, third, fourth. It just means that first of all, you're playing against the lower seeds, and second of all, you get to choose whether you're on the play or on the draw. So obviously, it does provide an advantage, but first or second is not going to make or break your league top 8 experience generally.
I'm annoyed actually because I was first place for most of the league, and now I am like third, fourth, maybe fifth. We'll see, because I went 3-1, 2-2, 2-2, or something like that. So people have just climbed over me. And with my deck, it's very important that I be on the play because I'm an aggro deck. So my dropping in the standings means that I am more likely to lose in the tournament because it's single elim. But I've had fun, so it's been a good run.
This has been so much fun. Like it's been great.
As long as you top 8 in league, you get something, or even if you just do well in the consolation bracket, you still get something. Plus, you've opened a ton of packs, which is fun.
I got something. I played a lot of really fun Magic. I laughed more in this league than I have.
I love the sealed format.
Yeah.
For our, I mean,
good.
I love our draft. It's actually been it's probably my favorites in Shadows, but I really like the sealed format. There's just so many different options. Unlike Shadows, where there were literally only 2 decks in the final.
It's funny, we are not the first ones to say this, but they seem to have finally mastered the 2-set block right before they got rid of it.
Yeah.
Because this has been like one of the best.
Which is funny, because Amonkhet was not that amazing.
No, I mean, it was still very fun. I had a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it too.
I didn't like the draft nearly as much.
As the sealed?
Well, the draft was just super fast.
It was.
And it meant that there wasn't much option for variety.
Which you can see why I really enjoyed it.
I do. But, aggro decks are definitely still a thing.
Yeah.
So, I think that for Ixilan, League is going to, kind of like Shadows again, just be super tribally focused. I think from what we've seen so far, there seem to be a lot of advantages to synergy. The nice thing is that there are multiple tribes. It's not just going to be either green-white humans or red-black vampires.
Yeah, and overlapping tribes.
Yeah, exactly. So you could end up, like just straight-up black-white vampires. Or
we can hope it's more like the original Innistrad.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see, but League is always fun just because you can build what you want.
Yeah.
And you're still playing Magic, and you're still trading, and you're still hanging out with a group of people that you generally know pretty well. We usually get a couple new players each time, but, the core players are all there, and it's nice to see some friendly faces. So I think that's pretty much it for this week. I mean, Ixilan spoilers are definitely taking up a lot of the news waves. So, I mean, if you're interested in playing the new Modern Cube, it is up on Mitgo. They've made some interesting changes, like they've taken out Gifts Ungiven but kept in Unburial Rights.
Do they have non-single limb queues?
I think so. Well, it's not queues, no. It's League.
Then I'm not interested.
Yeah. We all hate cube leagues here at the podcast.
Yes, we do.
But they also have, I think, been doing splashback leagues again. They just, I think, have finished Ravnica Block. Or just straight up Ravnica. So, again, if you're interested, go check that out. Also, Vintage Leagues are up. Well, I mean, none of us currently play, but cards are always cheaper online, and you don't have to play the most powerful decks, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I would like to see some sort of kitchen table league, but I have no idea how they'd pull that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that would be super weird.
Yeah.
But fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, until next week, thank you for spending time with us.
Yes, and go out some play some Magic.
Ooh.
That's your sign off.
Ooh.
Goodbye, Stepford.
See you next week.
No, you gotta talk. That's how this testing thing works.
Well, you're doing all the talking for us.
But
Yeah, you're carrying this episode, Tams.
Yeah.
great. I'm sorry for everything you're going to hear, which is going to be nothing. All right, so can you say a few more words for me?
A few more words.
For you.
You two are so not helpful.
Episode 28.
Sound check. Are you
Possibly
sure?
29.
Yep.
Did you check?
It's episode somewhere between 24 and 30.
Welcome to the Knowledge Pool, episode somewhere between 24 and 30.
Look, we like to be specific here.
That's right.